Hello, this is Colleen from Keeping the Peace, Defensive Handgun Training for Women, and I've been tagged by Momma Tully. She did a video, I believe it was yesterday, on how to convince the female in your life to concealed carry. And so I'm answering her tag, and I'm going to go over some different things. Sorry this isn't really steady. I'm trying to hold it with my hand. I don't typically do that, but this is kind of quick here. I'm going to go over some different things that I think are applicable for convincing someone to concealed carry, and I'm going to kind of take it maybe from a little bit of a different angle. She mentioned helping people overcome fear, and that is definitely primary because that is one of the big things that prevents people from concealed carrying. Even if they get to the point where they're confident with the function of the firearm and they can actually shoot well, they still are a little bit afraid of putting it on their body for various reasons. But I think there are other factors that keep women from concealed carrying. One of the huge ones is fashion. I think there's a lot of ladies that are concerned with fashion and they're convinced that they can't possibly manage to carry a gun on their body and still dress fashionably. There are also a lot of women who, even if they may not admit it, they're concerned about the shape of their body not being what it is. For instance, if you're used to having curves in certain places, if you stick a gun in there, now you're going to have a bulge or a lump in that place instead of a curve, and it can make you look wider than you really are. It can make you look beefier. I'm trying to find a nice way to say it. That was one of the big things that I had an issue with in the beginning, because I had to come to terms with the fact that I was going to look literally 4 inches wider than I really am. Because by the time I put a thick gun belt, plus a handgun in a holster, plus 2 magazines and a mag pouch on the other side, that adds about 4 inches to my waistline, and I had a hard time with that at first. You have to kind of go through a process where you come to terms with, is your physical appearance more important to you than your safety? And that's something that you personally have to battle. No one can convince you. You have to come to terms with that yourself. It's personal. So the first thing I'm going to say is be sensitive to that and know that it's different for women than it is for men, okay? Men are shaped differently, and putting a gun on a man's body is a very different thing. So please keep that in mind. Please don't pressure her. Don't make her feel like less of a person if she's chosen not to. Give her time. I think the best thing I can recommend is expose her to real information about real situations where women have needed a handgun and didn't have it, or where women were in a situation where they needed a handgun and they did have it. Show her results of real situations. A great way to do that is buy her good books. I'm going to just show you a couple of books. There's a gentleman that I love to read. His name is Robert Waters. I don't know if you can see this very well, but he writes compilations of stories, real life self-defense stories. He's got several of these. There's this one called The Best Defense, True Stories of Intended Victims Who Defended Themselves with a Firearm. Excellent. Here's another one called Outgunned. True Stories of Citizens Who stood up to outlaws and won. That one's kind of set a little further back in history. This one is called Guns Save Lives. True Stories of Americans Defending Their Lives with Firearms. And then this one is a partnership between him and a woman who I just love. Her name's Kathy Jackson. This one's called Lessons from Armed America. So these are 4 books that I read. I was already carrying by this point, but these 4 books really changed my outlook on things and really helped me to just kind of apply what I was learning in tactical training to real life. So I think these are excellent, and if you've not convinced her yet, let her convince herself. Let information convince her, okay? She needs to make this decision herself. It's very personal. Another great book, if she's battling with whether or not it's even possible to carry this thing, this is a great book. I read this very early on in my carrying. This is by Kathy Jackson. She's wonderful. It's called The Cornered Cat, A Woman's Guide to Concealed Carry. It's a meaty book. It's got a lot of information on it. It covers a lot of different topics. Sorry I'm not looking at you, but I'm trying to hold the camera and kind of look at this too. But some of the things that she goes over in this book, she addresses if I can hold this better. Let's see. Saving the life of a stranger. Christians in self-defense. Turning fear into safety. What am I going to tell my mom? Would you carry a gun to blah, 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 like different places. Legal questions about carry permits, buying guns, traveling with firearms, gun safety, how to buy a gun, all kinds of stuff about holsters and concealed carry. There's just tons of stuff in here. Okay, this is a very practical book. She also has a great website, The Cornered Cat, where she has tons of different articles about different things. You can also find her on Facebook, The Cornered Cat. Lots of great information. I would also recommend following a young lady named Falia. Her YouTube channel is Falia Photography. She's got lots of great videos on hiding a handgun on a body, okay, with different kinds of clothes. She goes through different kinds of holsters and their applications, different kinds of handguns. I have found her to be valuable. Another great thing to do is spend time with people who concealed carry. Let your significant other see that there's normal people in the world who go about their life and they function normally, but they're carrying a handgun. You may want to let her spend time with them for a while first before she realizes that they do, so that she can see they're real normal people. They can be discreet. Sorry, that's my virus program. Sorry about that. Let her see that people can go about their business and, you know, function perfectly normally in society. We're not all nut jobs, you know, like she may have stereotypes that are built in, or she may be worried about being perceived as a gun nut, okay? So be sensitive to that too. Don't push, let her make her own decision. Prepare to invest in a new wardrobe, because once she starts carrying, a lot of the clothes that are in her closet are not going to work. I found myself when I started carrying, I'd never worn a belt in my life until I started carrying a gun. So there were lots of pants that would not accommodate a gun belt. They all had to go. I used to wear a lot of dresses. Dresses had to go because I'm not a thigh holster person. And if I can't carry either in a belly band or on my waistband, then that piece of clothing has to go. And that was my personal decision. But it took me a while to get there. It was a process. It wasn't just like one day I threw away everything in my closet and replaced it all. It was a process. When I first started carrying, it was in a handbag. And then when I first started carrying on my body, I open carried first. Then I started conceal carrying. Open carry was a little easier for me because I didn't have to really change the shape of myself. And I know this sounds weird, but that was an issue for me, and it's I don't know, it's silly. It's really silly. But it was a real thing. It was something that I really dealt with. So be sensitive to those kind of things. Be prepared to invest in her if she's your wife. I mean, if she's your girlfriend, I guess you might help with that too. But if she's your wife, certainly be prepared. If you really want her to be on board with this thing, it's going to be a little different than it is for you. You can just, you know, as a man, you can just buy a holster and a gun and you're good. Ladies have to totally change a lot of things in their wardrobe, so be prepared to invest in that. Not only for clothing, but for various holster systems, because different outfits and styles of clothing for a woman are going to require different types of holster systems, and probably various types of guns. Like for me, I carry two different ways. I carry in a belly band and on my waistline. So I have a certain gun that I use on my waistline, and personally I need two of them because if one goes down, I want another one exactly like it. So that's something that I needed. And belly band gun, it's got to be smaller than the one that goes on my waistband because the one on my waistband won't conceal here. So, and I wanted it to be the same caliber, so, you know, my husband helped me to upgrade from a 380 to the 9mm, so I had the same cartridge for both the waistband and the belly band gun, and that was a process, getting to that too. So this is all a process. So be sensitive, be patient, don't try to convince her, let her convince herself by providing her the information, being flexible, being prepared to invest. Also, give her a gift certificate that will be enough to pay for a handgun, some ammo, a holster, and some training. Let her go get the training, be exposed to different handguns, pick the one that's really the best for her, let her take classes and invest herself, her time in this, and then let her be the one to pick the handgun so that if she doesn't like it, she can't blame it on you. And because she's able to pick something that she's tried and it works for her. okay? If you buy her something and she hates it, she's going to feel bad about telling you, I just don't like it, you know? And she's going to feel guilty, and then she may just, you know, put away shooting altogether because she doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but she feels like she's stuck with something she can't stand. This happens a lot. So it's better just to give her a gift certificate and let her go out and make it personal for her. I hope that helps. I feel like I rambled, but Momma Tully, I hope that's what you had in mind. So I hope it's helpful, too, to possibly some guys out there who are wanting to, you know, convince their significant other to carry. I know my husband was persistent, patient. Sometimes he, you know, kind of pushed me a little bit, but it was because he was concerned for me, you know, walking out like around the block or something and not having it on me. He knew I'd be safer if I had it, and you know, it took me a while to get to the point where I could handle doing that. So adjustments have to be made, and it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take time. So be patient, and I hope this helps you. Thanks, Colleen from Keeping the Peace. God bless.